Hello everyone, this is Blankara and welcome to my universe. Today we're going to continue rigging Shalom from Path to Nowhere. When I was looking at it just now, I noticed that I wanted to fix a couple of very minor things in some of these little strands. The one in this area being one of them. It just, I don't know. Something about the way that's moving right there just doesn't look very good to me. So I'm going to try to fix it up. I think it was mostly just getting a little bit skinny near the top, and I just needed to fix that and then adjust the angle at the very top. So I don't think it'll take too much, but I want to give it a little bit of time that it needs here. Yeah, maybe not quite like that. Let me see, exactly how did it connect down here? Like right on the edge. Looking at this little point right here. It's super pixelated when I get this zoomed in, but I know what I'm talking about. Just trying to get it to line up in the same way that it did in the normal view there in the front. There appear to be a few shenanigans with it. I think it probably got elongated a little at some point while I was poking around with things and trying to get certain angles right. So just got to adjust all that. Too much. Shrunk it down too much. It'll always be a little bit of a push and pull like that where I feel like I've moved it a little bit too much and sometimes just kind of have to push things around to get them back to where I think they should be. And then for the rest, I kind of feel like the angle that I had put on it was a little bit too strong, so I'm going to weaken it just a little bit more here. Kind of making the strand look like it's squirming a little bit. And well, that's just no good. Do not want it to be squirming. Yeah, that is indeed looking much better. Just need to put the finishing touches on it here. Find exactly the right angle for all of this. Yeah, there we go. That's much better. And then the other one was this strand here that I wasn't quite happy with. And naturally, I have some work that I want to do in the back here still. It's because I remember yesterday I wanted to do a little bit more, but oh boy, I was pooped by the end there. It's one of those times where I could tell that if I kept going, not only was I unlikely to make too much progress, but it was entirely possible that it would actually make things worse. Just from not quite knowing what I was doing. That does happen sometimes. And that's why it's a good idea to rest when you're tired. Do a little bit, but just because making sure to get a little bit done every day is important, I think. So do a little bit, but when you can feel your brain dying, it's a sign of, okay, I did a little bit. It's okay to do the bare minimum today. Let's try again tomorrow. So the Inktober drawing that I drew yesterday, I actually really like, even if it's incredibly silly. I do think it is very, very silly, but I had a lot of fun drawing it. I have no idea what I'm going to do for today, though. Most of the time I have kind of some inkling of a direction, but I don't really for this one, I might just do something cool with the moon silhouette again, because it's really hard to go wrong with cool moon silhouettes. But besides that, I got nothing. The theme for today is remote. Part of me was kind of tempted to draw a TV remote or something like that, just to be contrarian. Because the themes for these prompts clearly have to do with getting outside and going on an adventure. And drawing a TV remote would just be the opposite of that, and I guess it might be kind of funny, but I don't know, that also sounds kind of boring to draw. So, that's what made me not want to make that joke. Is being contrarian and thinking that I'm oh so witty worth drawing something boring? I'm not so sure. So I'll probably just do a cool moon silhouette thing. When in doubt. Draw some neat patterns. Maybe draw something in space again. I don't know. It would indeed be quite remote, but I don't know what to draw. And that's a problem when it comes to speed painting, because it's like I have to pretty much keep my pen moving the whole time. So occasionally there'll be like small pauses while I look up a reference or try to generate some ideas via Google of just doing some searches on certain styles or objects to get some ideas on what to draw. But for the most part, my pen is moving the whole time, and if I don't have some idea of where I'm going at the start, I'm gonna have considerably less time to actually just draw it all out. So here's hoping I will think of something cool while I'm rigging today or while I'm eating today. 'Cause after that it'll be time to draw, and well, at that point I just gotta do my best. All there is to it. Meanwhile, I'm realizing that I didn't have this strand nearly as finished as I thought I did. There's several parts there that were just kind of out of whack. I'm glad I gave this area another look, because I think it looks much better now. It can be easy to ignore these little strands on the side just because they are not as important as the areas near the face. But I do like to give them the attention they deserve. Can't ignore them entirely. That would just be rude, you know? So I'll just try to work out these last few lumps and weird areas and try to make it all better. Yeah. That's mostly better. Just want to fix up some width shenanigans happening right over here. Make right there just a little bit thicker. It was getting thin for no apparent reason. And then I need to push it back over here. So apparently my thickness adjustments pushed it a little bit too far over to the right. Just a little bit, though. There we go. That looks like it's doing pretty well. Let me make sure that it's really connecting at the right point here. I think so, but I think I want it to be just ever so slightly straight. Was perhaps a little bit crooked there. There we go. That seems pretty good. And since I've come this far, I want to make a couple of tiny adjustments down here too. They're very tiny. Ever so tiny. But I think that's okay. Still not quite where I want it. Like, it's super, super close. So I feel like I should just bring it to the end, but I'm not quite sure what's wrong. I can tell that it's just going slightly to the right again. Like, you can see the little bit of movement just right through here. It's small, but I still see it when I am zoomed out. So I'm kind of inclined to just go and fix it. Oh, there. Whoa, there, hand. We're doing ultra tiny adjustments here. Cannot make things slide too hard like that. Oh, that would just be unfortunate. And get a little bit too excited there. Okay, I think that's probably good. Now I can stop procrastinating and move on to the back hair and the highlight of doom. Let's go. I'm gonna check all the other spots, you know, through here, up through here, and over here again, just so I can procrastinate just a little bit longer on that guy. But looking at them, I think they all look fine. It's fine. It just means I have to go in and fix everything down this side, and I'm terrified. So terrified. I know it'll be okay in the end, but that doesn't make it any easier. I'm gonna go ahead and hide the side bang here. And probably this strand too. Just to make sure. Actually, yeah, let's get all the little strands. Where is that strand by the ear here? Where are you, little strand? That's that one. For some reason I cannot find it. That's bang. Pardon me while I try to read here. Because that's that. There. There you are. Okay, a tiny strand, and you're just way over there. And I guess I'll get that one too. Alright, we'll just get everything out of the way here. And we get to see some funny stuff with the ear just because I knew that that'd be covered with hair, so I didn't worry about making him connect properly. That was just gonna look very silly. That's okay. Rigging whips would be nothing without a little bit of silliness. Okay, so I think I can actually use this shadow here as a hint for where this highlight should be, because I think the mesh probably connects some of those areas. It's because of how kind of absurd I meshed this. Yes, Shalom did get a new hairstyle. Honestly, I don't think she looks half bad with her hair tucked behind her ears. If only, you know, she didn't have the random bald spots here, but... Otherwise, I think that could actually look okay if it was drawn properly. Whatever I just did, don't. Okay. Accidentally dragged that layer when I meant to just click on it. Anyway, hello again, Vivi. How are you doing today? Oh no. Well, I hope you feel better soon. As for me, I'm still trapped within the confines of Hell. And I always have trouble with this highlight that I'm working on right here, the one that kind of runs down the side of the hair here. So I'm just trying to work out these last few details that I wasn't able to yesterday. I got a little bit tired yesterday. I suppose I can forgive myself though, because I went to take my daughter ice skating with her grandfather, and I ended up falling asleep in the car. My dad was the one driving, so it was fine, of course, but still, I was very sleepy. Even though I was actively trying not to fall asleep, I ended up just kind of dozing off in my chair. But it's okay, because now it's the first thing I'm doing, after some minor strand corrections. So hopefully today I can figure out the secrets of the highlight from hell. Oh no, it just does not like me. It's like, look at that thing wiggle. Looks ridiculous. Let's take a good look at how it looked on the normal view there. And I'll just keep trying to find the right angle for all of this. I feel like it shouldn't be this hard. But for whatever reason, how this highlight should move is just something that I've always found a little bit difficult. And I don't think the mesh I made for it is helping at all. But I'll keep trying until I get it right. I can guarantee that I am more tenacious than Pixels. It's like if they think that they can get me to give up, they've got another thing coming. It's like, man. Guess I'll just have to take it a little bit slower. Let's take a look at some of these other areas around it. That's kind of how I was starting off here. But let's really, really look at some of this. Okay, I'm gonna start over here again. Worrying about some of this area that's covered by the bangs that I wasn't worried about before. Because I think if I can line some of this up, then maybe I can make more sense of what's going on over here. So I'm going to be a little bit more particular about what's going on in the rest of the hair. Just for that reason. If I'm lucky, maybe it'll even make some of the other parts look a little bit better. I'm going to try to avoid moving stuff way over here too much though, because I already kind of like the way it looks when I have the bang and stuff on. But I do want to try to get some of that looking a little bit more accurate, perhaps. 'Cause I think it might help. Yeah, I think so. At the very least, I figure it's worth a shot. Because I do have all these other nice little textures that are typically covered up by everything. I should use them a little bit more wisely. Oh, this one actually curves. With as straight as everything is here, I'm actually a little bit surprised that this little guy here is actually curved on the default view here, so you can kind of see that there's a... yeah, it changes direction. And that, the top here should definitely be further this way. The goal here is just to get these spots to look like they're just dropping down. And you can see right now there's a bit of shifting, where it doesn't necessarily look like they're dropping down. It's not quite like vertical. Doesn't look exactly the same. Just lower. So that's the goal here, just try to get everything to look roughly the same, just lower. So this probably goes out like this and then in like this. I'm not sure if that's too exaggerated, but I figure it's a good place to start. No, that's actually about right. Cool. Okay, now near the bottom here. The bottom looks like it's expanding outward a little bit there. Which probably means that this turns this way. And that goes over there a little bit. Just taking things nice and slow here today. Yeah. That's looking a little bit better. Now for the middle here. And I probably don't need to get all this like 100%, but it would be nice to get it like into the 75% correct territory. In this case, less because it'll be seen and more because I think it might help me. Like I already know all this is going to be covered with bangs, so that's why I'm not too worried about it. That's why I think 75% is accurate is probably good enough. And who knows, maybe getting it somewhat more accurate will make my life easier when it comes to add physics to the hair. Something I'm still very much looking forward to. Because yeah, right now you can see when I move the hair, everything just kind of all moves up. It doesn't like swish or do anything interesting. It just moves around. And that's always the first step, just trying to figure out where all the hair should be and the various head angles and all that stuff. But soon I'll be adding some stuff to make it swish around to make it look like hair. And that's just always so much fun. It really adds just an entirely new sense of liveliness to the entire model. That's why I made the joke. It's like, if you're not gonna have fun with hair physics, like, why are you even making a VTuber model? It's like where such a great deal of pizzazz in the entire model comes from. Just having cool hair physics. Spending my mornings after stream here just doing more speed paints has been fun, but it's also making me fall behind on a lot of things. Like normally on the weekends and on Monday, the grandparents come and take the kids, so I have some time to do some other stuff. But unfortunately my dad got sick last Saturday, and then my mother-in-law had some other stuff that she had to do on Monday, so I didn't get either of my usual days. I was planning on editing videos during one of those days, but I ended up getting neither. So I'm a little bit behind on the video editing here, and has just been kind of working very quickly to make sure to get one done every day. Fortunately, I think I figured it out, and so now I can probably do them all very, very quickly when the time comes. But even besides that, I'm also like super behind on laundry. I've been meaning to fold clothes for like 2 weeks now. Things just keep getting away from me. But I'm pretty sure my dad will be able to make it today. Here's hoping that he slept and won't be missing another Saturday. So that this way, hopefully, I can catch up on some of the stuff that I'm behind on. When I actually do the laundry and then, maybe poke at some art-adjacent things. Probably won't do much drawing besides the speed paint, just because, oh boy, do I get tired after doing so much. That's why I say early in November I'm probably going to be taking a break from drawing after stream 2. But once I feel like I've recovered from the, I guess a little bit of stress from doing a speed paint every day, I probably will try to do one once a week. Use that as a Saturday thing. A thing that I do when the grandparents take the kids to go have fun. Because that, I think I could probably keep up. And I mean, to be fair, if I really wanted to, I probably could keep doing a daily speed paint for a really long time. Possibly indefinitely. But I think it would come at the expense of doing basically anything else. Because I have had no time to draw anything else. That's fine for a month, but I'm not sure if I can handle it forever. There are just many things I want to draw, and some of those things cannot be drawn in 2 hours. Okay, so I'm gradually working my way over here. I've been a little bit more particular about some of these things than I normally would be, just because I am struggling enough with that highlight, that I think getting these things in order will end up helping more than hurting. So I'm treating it like I would any other part of the hair, and I'm doing my best to ignore the fact that it's just going to be all covered up. So I really did have some of these shadow areas really scrambled up. Took me a second to find good homes for all these vertices. But I think we're getting there. I think they're starting to look much happier than they were just a few minutes ago. Still got some work to do with this kind of lighter gray-brown area here. Not the really light one, but this one versus that. Just have to actually remember what angle it's supposed to be, as opposed to whatever random guess I ended up making that previous time. Because I couldn't remember. It's actually pretty hard to remember these things. That's why it's good to check. And I'll just go back and reference the original for a little while there. Try to follow those curves. Let me see, how does it go down? Yeah, it goes like all the way down. Everything just kind of starts flattening out around here. Man, I do just have a lot of random vertices here. This will definitely be a note to my future self of, even if an area doesn't seem that important, make sure to mesh it well. Because if you don't, it will bite you later, and you will be sad. And you will create highlights from hell like this. And it's okay. The first step of learning anything new is to make many, many mistakes. And regret your actions numerous times over. Okay, so I think a lot of this is still going to look very strange, but I am focused on this area right here. Gotta worry about the rest later. One thing at a time, even though that squirming is really hard to ignore. Really, really hard to ignore. It's amazing how absolutely wiggly that is. But for the area that I'm actually looking at in this kind of grayish brown area, I think it's starting to look pretty good. So progress is being made, just not there. And that's just kind of how it is. I may not be able to keep it like that. I was hoping that I could get some of those shapes right and it would give me a few more clues about how everything else should be. But I may not quite be able to get away with it with some of the parts down here just because of how I meshed this. Like I said, very much regretting my actions. Past self definitely did not know what was going on here. It's kind of funny with how particular I was about like every other mesh, especially in the hair. But I assume the back hair was one of the ones that I did near the end. One of the last ones I did, that is. So, I was probably pretty tired by this point, and I'm just like, am I really gonna be doing that much with the back hair? Like, come on. It's just gonna be covered up by everything. It's probably not gonna move that much. True. But now, every little bit of movement that I have to do with the back hair here is gonna be much harder than it needs to be. And that is the lesson I'm taking from all this. Be more picky with the meshes, even when you are dying from meshing everything. And let me tell you, I remember when I was meshing everything, and I was indeed dying. Meshing is honestly extremely dull. That's why I can forgive my past self for being a little bit lazy with it. It's like if actually moving stuff around looks tedious and precise, meshing is like 10 times worse. I would like to learn how to use the auto mesh a little bit better. Just because I think it would save me a lot of headaches. That was not something I did with this model. I tried a few times and had the results that made me not want to use the auto mesh much in the first place. Where it's still not quite generating a super great mesh. Okay. But I think I'm getting there with this block that I'm working on. I think this is probably good enough because I think it's more important to get these outer areas looking good. Alright, so now that things are looking relatively good there, did it give me a hint as to what I should be doing with the highlight from hell? Let's find out. I'm going to consult the mesh a little bit first. See if it can give me any ideas as to why I'm struggling so much with this area. Mesh has a lot of good ideas, so I like to try to listen to it when I can. Even if its communication style is a little bit hard to understand, since it can only communicate in vertex movement. But when I see those vertices squirming, I know that something may not be quite right. And I can see that I moved things around a little bit too much in my quest to smooth out this covered area. That's alright, I'll just move it on back. The mesh will tell me what I did wrong. And things are squirming enough that I can hear it clearly. It's just like, man, what were you even doing? It has no idea. That's okay. It doesn't have to understand. I was just trying something. Even I don't fully understand. So I'll just do my best to get everything kind of smooth through here. See what happens. Okay. What you got for me, Mesh? I know we're not done yet. I know we're nowhere near done yet, because everything still looks kind of wonky. And we just need to hide everything behind this thin little strand here. It's amazing how much work that tiny, tiny little strand is doing. Hiding everything and making it so I don't have to worry about the edge at all. It's very convenient. I appreciate that little guy. Well, I guess the good news is that I think the bottom is starting to look as good as I'll probably be able to make it. I need to smooth out some parts, of course, but unfortunately I didn't draw enough on the outer edge there. So I can't make it go straight down. I'm just gonna have to make it look like it's flowing downward. But I think that's okay. It is not the end of the world. A lot of this area is going to be covered up, so... Okay, good. I am moving that more than I need to. I can pull this back a little. Just forgot how that actually moved there. can tell that my brain is starting to get a little bit tired. But I was prepared to spend a bunch of time on the back here today, since it is giving me so much trouble. I told you, it's the highlight from hell. It does not know what's going on. But I think it's all coming together. Just gotta get those shapes right up here. Oh man, that's actually so close. With as much as I've been flailing at this, it's actually nice to see that level of progress. See, in the end, sometimes it just takes a lot of flailing in order to get it right. It's still not right, but it's righter than it was 5 minutes ago, so I'll take it. Just needs a little bit more flailing. That's the answer to everything. Flail harder. Oh man, that just... the way it changes direction there. I don't know how to fix it. It keeps bothering me so much, but I can't... Every time I move something, it doesn't actually fix the issue. The way the mesh right here is just... I don't know, the part I want to move is in the middle of two lines instead of like right at the edge of the vertices. And that's why I'm always very particular about where I put these vertices, because like, you can see through here, I didn't have much trouble moving this, because I had the vertices lining the color changes. And so I was just able to conveniently move them around. But if you look here, the parts that I want to move are all just on the lines themselves. I don't have some vertices lining it. And so it's making it a huge pain. It was a rushed mesh. And now I am suffering. All there is to it. I will carry this pain into the future and learn from it. Pain is an excellent teacher, never forget that. That's why I say, don't fear the pain, but, you know, don't go jumping headfirst into it either. Like, it's unpleasant for a reason. It's just trying to teach you something. So even if it's helpful, you gotta listen to it. The brain does sometimes have some good ideas. Sometimes it understands. Sometimes it tries a little bit too hard to protect you, but it's okay. It's okay to listen sometimes. Okay, I think that's actually probably going to be okay. I'm not super happy with how I had to do the bottom, but I don't think I can do that any other way with how this was drawn. But the rest I think is looking alright. And I might be able to do a little bit more with the bottom here. Let me see if I can help it out a bit. By maybe pulling some of this a little bit further down. I feel like it's getting a little bit too thick. Right through here, so maybe if I'm able to pull these guys, those little vertices just right, maybe it'll all work itself out. Yeah, just looking a little squished. Do not want to squish the pixels. That sounds rude. Yeah, I think that's probably about as good as I can make it. Let me just tuck everything back behind the strand here. Make sure nothing's peeking out there. Is that a little bit of peeking? No, that's just the way that strand looks. There is a little bit of peeking down here, though. So gotta pull that back in. There we go. And now I just hope that when it comes time to take off her coat that I won't be suffering. Might have to make some adjustments when that time comes. But I think I will leave that for future me. Just because her coat is a little bit bigger than her shirt. Alright. Let's put the shadows back on. I'm gonna do the head shadows first because I think they're easier. I always feel like I have to pull a shenanigan or two with the body shadows. Okay, and for the... Let's see here. So for this one, I'm gonna want to pull it out a little bit here. When I was first doing this, I would often just copy and paste the mesh, but I think it's actually a little bit easier just to do it myself. Then I don't have to read and I can just keep yapping. Reading is pretty hard when you're trying to talk. Autosave helping me out there. Okay. I just gotta gently push this one right over. For the most part, it was already in a decent spot. Now for the bang. Nothing too difficult here, just making sure that all the parts that I want to show are properly peeking out. But for the most part, a lot of this is already in a relatively decent spot. I'm just trying to make it a little bit more subtle. The shadows on the face on the original were very, very subtle, so I definitely want to keep that as much as I can. I want to preserve the art style of the original as much as I am able to. It's actually pretty hard to properly copy styles like that. Cutting out the art for this was an adventure with how much I had to redraw. Learned a lot about just what goes into making a style, and I think it's probably what's led to my recent kick of just trying out a bunch of different styles. And yes, her coat is quite massive. It's a pretty cool coat, though. I approve. Looks like the shadows on the original on this side were actually a little bit stronger, especially underneath the hair here and around the eyes. That makes sense. She's supposed to look a little bit ominous. So of course the shadows would be a little bit stronger on that mostly covered eye. Another case of I probably should have checked. So let's pull this out a little bit more. Make it stronger. Make it more ominous. All the good stuff that I associate with Shalom. Yeah, there we go. That's matching up a bit better now. Okay, and then around here on this side, it's actually sticking out a little bit too much. So let's make the shadows over here a little bit more subtle. And also get it wrapping around that little strand coming off the bang here a little bit better. Subtlety is the name of the game. There we go. I think actually having a little bit more show underneath here looks good. So I'm gonna keep it like that. Okay, and then just need to pull a little bit more out right there. Got tucked in just a little bit too hard. Needs to poke its little head out. Little Vertex can't be too shy. Needs to come say hello to the world in order to find its proper place. A little bit more shadow around the eye here. That kind of seems to be the story with how I'm doing the shadows here. Hiding them around the eye just a little bit too hard. It's like, of course, gotta have a few shadows around the eye there. That's what kind of gives it the ominous feeling. So I better pay attention to that. Yeah, there we go. I think that's good. So now I can do the body shadows. I did not move stuff around that much here. So with any luck, I will not have too much work to do on these. That said, I kind of feel like I have to pull a shenanigan or two on several of these. This one I think I will try to copy and paste the mesh. So which one are you? Hair behind middle. Hair behind middle. Here we are. Okay. Then hair, thin shoulder clump, strand. Hair, thin. I mean, there's the thick. Hair. It should not be there. Okay, back to what I was looking for. Hair, thin. Shoulder clump shadow. That should be good. Okay. Now let's look for the strands, because I know one of these has improper names. I guess I can just look for the... Okay. Look for some of these ones that haven't been set, and that might give me some ideas here. Alright, I think I'm just gonna do the rest by hand because I don't feel like reading through things. Well, that's fine. I don't think these are too difficult to manage. They're just kind of hanging out her shoulder there. This one's not going to show, but I still want it in place for physics purposes. Okay. Let's pull these out just a little bit here. I think that they're hiding perhaps just a little bit too much. There we go. You're fine. You're fine. Are you fine? Maybe not quite fine. Okay, that's probably fine. Now I fix up this area, which I actually think is mostly correct. Just has a few things that need to be pulled out in various places. And I definitely need to look at how it is in the original here because I don't remember. There we go, something like that maybe. Still not quite right in the corner. Just a tiny little spot right there. Needs to be sticking out just a little bit more, I think. And now I just want to make it a little bit smoother. Probably easier to do that without the brush, actually. Just so used to moving the shadows with the brush that I just autopiloted right to it. Doing art on autopilot is very dangerous. I don't recommend it. Alright, let's take a look now. I think I want to tuck in the vertices right along here just a little bit. Then while I'm looking at this, I think I actually want these shadows to show up on the chest as well. I'm realizing that it looks kind of weird that it doesn't, so... But I think that'll be something I do after I finish up with the layer that I'm currently working on. Okay, now just the tip on that side needs to go down something like that. That's probably too much, isn't it? Oh no, that's actually about right. Okay, cool. I'll take it. Need to do the same under the tip on this one too. Got a little bit compressed up in there. Just pull it on out and things should look a little bit better. Okay. So now let's go get these hair strands to show up on the body. Just, no, I need to find the composite here, go down into here, and add this as another clipping option. There we go. I think I should add the neck to it as well. There we go. Okay. I think that's looking pretty good. Gonna go ahead and collapse the body again, just so I don't have so many layers showing up on the page there. Okay, now that things are showing up on the body, I can see this a little bit more clearly, and I think that pretty much everything, like, right over here just needs to be tucked in very slightly. Okay, I was wondering if I had a vertex selected or something, because it wasn't letting me move all these vertices for some reason. I'll just tuck those in just a little bit there. And there we go. Let's go take a look. Zoom out, and I do have all the hair turned on, right? I do. Okay. Very important to check. Gonna slowly look at things here, but I think that is everything hair related. And thus the upward turn is done. Gonna take a look at some of my other ones too. You know, I actually really like the way the downward turn looks. Definitely suits the ominous. I would not want to see that expression on her. So I approve strongly. I think there are a few things I want to fix on the left and right head turns. That will definitely be for another day, but I think up and down are both actually looking really good. Alright, so that's the cardinal directions pretty much done. Now I just want to go back through and take a look at all of them again, the left and the right, polish things up, make sure everything is exactly as I want it. I can already see a few things that I want to fix here. Like, I'm not sure if her jaw is in the right place. I was especially noticing it on this side, where it looks like it's a little far back, so I might push it a little bit further forward. And then, I think the back of her head is a little bit too big. And I kind of want to fix the shape of just this area here. I'm not quite sure how yet. But I don't know, it's still looking maybe a little bit too poofy. And kind of the same over here, where I feel like the back of her head is maybe a little bit too big. Although I don't feel like this looks quite as bad as it does on this side. But I might still make some adjustments over there. And then I kind of want to do some amount of shenanigans with her eyebrows and just trying to get some more 3D looking stuff on her eyes on the left and right here. I think the up and down are both doing pretty well. The down especially. Might actually be worth moving these, her eyelids a little bit, changing the shape just a little. I will think about that. I don't think I want to attempt that today. But this is my plan for probably the next couple of streams. Just polish up some of the stuff on the left and right. Just get all the cardinal direction turns exactly as I want them, so we can visit the corners and I can no longer have this funny jaw to laugh at. Because it looks so bad. But it's okay, I'll fix it. It'll be better. I promise. But for now, I think this is where I will stop for today. So, thank you all for coming. If you'd like me to take a look at your own creative projects, whether that be art, writing, coding, game design, or any creative pursuit you can think of, feel free to message or at me on the social media platform of your choice, and I will take a look. Maybe leave some comments. I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.